Welcome to the Didi and Lital Show. Advice, thoughts, and stories from a married couple on cybersecurity, technology, and life in general. Now here are your hosts, Didi and Lital.
Hello and welcome to the Didi and Lital Show. It's definitely cold.
It's not cold.
It's getting colder.
I'm still hanging on to the flannel until the end of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you're not jogging outside at all, so you don't know that the mornings are really crisp. You have to have your gloves on, otherwise you lose a finger.
Yeah,
And,
it's
fine.
Until it's below freezing, I don't use gloves because the fact is I don't feel like I'm going to lose a finger. I just hate running outside at this point in time.
It's actually fun. And the crisp air is awesome for running. It's the best time for running, I think.
Not if you have mold allergies. All the leaves everywhere just make me feel like I'm... That's why I was using the
all
clear...
the leaves are brown.
And the sky is gray.
It is. And
but that's
you have been for a walk.
But that's that's 60s, not the 80s. So a quick sports update before we go into our main thing. So producer Dave, you know when was the last time that we had an 8-game winning streak?
I presume the quarterback was Tom Brady.
Oh,
So
yes,
I'm
of
going
course.
out on a limb. I don't know. It was probably in the aughts, I think. I don't know.
No, 2019.
Oh, is that right?
The Boogeyman.
Oh, yeah.
When he went on stage and said that I'm the most unhappy 8-0 quarterback in the league. Remember that one?
Yeah, because it was a weird... Who was that? Was that Sam Darnold who said he was seeing boogeymen in the secondary?
He was saying ghosts. He was seeing ghosts.
Yeah. Right. That team, the defense was great, but yeah.
It wasn't. It was fake great. Because
the whole team was fake great, I think. Yeah.
Yes. They were playing tomato cans, and he was throwing to nobody and nobody.
Right.
And I think Julian Edelman went out in like the 4th game of the season. And he was standing there miserable because he was throwing to nobody. So that was the last time that we were this good.
That's not a good omen, actually. But
no, especially considering Lamar is on the horizon. Because last time we were that good and had that streak, we met Lamar and he took our pants off.
That's right,
and spanked us.
Yeah.
So...
and I hate to say it, but similarly weak schedule this year. Historically weak schedule.
Yeah. And Lamar is coming. So that's kind of where my mind's at on the Patriots. The Bruins are surprisingly good. The Celtics are not surprisingly bad. They lost last night, the Bruins, but
They had a good streak.
they had a very good streak. And
That started when I showed up to the game.
yeah, look, they spanked the Leafs. If you watch the Zadorov taking out basically half the Leafs team in the back-to-back games, that's heartwarming. There's nothing that makes a Bruins fan happier than stomping the Leafs.
Well, the Canadians, come on.
Yeah. It's stomping the Leafs.
Okay.
The Leafs, they're so soft. It's just so funny. That team is supposed to be like the best team in the league. They have so many good forwards. And I was there for the Carlo tribute. Let's put it this way. Nobody was crying. Nobody was standing. The guy was in. The guy was out.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Yeah, agree.
Cool.
Okay, let's talk security news.
Yes.
We are, I think yesterday, Anthropic, the creator of Claude, an AI company, posted a security blog about an attack that it's not them that detected it. It's actually one of the companies that were targeted, and then it got unveiled. And they found out, they posted a blog about a sophisticated, presumably Chinese nation-state attack on several, mostly U.S. organizations, financial institutions, some others, that was using multiple agents to manufacture this advanced attacks. For me, and I know you don't agree with, but we'll take one step back and maybe we'll talk about this world of APT and how it came to fame. What's the most famous APT in your kind of the history of advanced nation-state attacks, in your view?
RSA breach.
Yeah, and we talked a lot about it. But I think even more than the RSA breach, Stuxnet
People
is
don't know.
the,
People don't know what Stuxnet is because
so we'll tell the story. I think many of our listeners know, but I will say, and I think this is an interesting era. I'll explain why. So Stuxnet, for those of you who don't know, presumably was a joint attack created by Israelis and the U.S. There is a lot that was written about, but basically it was a worm, some sort of a virus that infected the controller of centrifuges, which are specific Siemens machine created by the German Siemens. The software made the centrifuge rotate in a much, much, much higher speed than it's supposed to. It made the machines gradually break over time and completely took, by that way, the Iranian nuclear facility, make it gradually completely ineffective. And the other levels of this malware, I mean, the malware was infected through a disk on key. So somebody had to come and plug it in. It was an air-gapped, completely disconnected from the world, from the internet system. So there were multiple levels. There was also in the code a level that went and removed from the logging system, the SIM, whatever, its existence, so that it's not going to be noticed and detection tools will not find it. So multiple complex activities that it was doing. Everybody realized that this specific Stuxnet, by the way, it also had code that it was only supposed to be, because it might have infected some other systems of Siemens, but it was only supposed to be active in those specific centrifuge controllers or something like that, because it was detected in other places that had similar software. Point is, this was a multi-agents, real agents, people from potentially CIA, Mossad, NSA, Unit 8200, expert doing multiple jobs, the job of understanding how the centrifuge works, how the control system works, how the software that runs it, blah, 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 how to go and delete it from the SIM, the logs, the stuff. Very complex activity, which typically people say only nation states can do. It's a complex operation. It probably took them years to prepare to and actually execute and get this. And only years after it was discovered, I think by Kaspersky. Go read about it. Very interesting. Now, when I read...
Are you done with the blah,
yes,
blah, blah?
Yeah.
Then
you tell history all the time, so stop being...
I know,
stop being
but
like
this
that.
is where it's not blah, blah, blah.
No, so my point is... Can you wait for a second?
Sure.
So I get to my point, because you're ruining my punchline.
Okay.
When I read yesterday the blog of about the Claude AI attack, and you can tell a little bit more details about what they did, I was like, oh my God, now we have AI APTs. Like with agents, you can now go shrink the time it would take, do it, brute force, basically, multiple stages of an attack and do it effectively. You'll talk about how this kind of like broke into actually being able to leverage Claude to do malicious stuff. But I think for my end, what's interesting is now you can have AI as a tool to run really advanced attack with multiple complex stages. Fine.
Now, you kind of said, the reason I said the blah, blah, blah is because you said blah, blah, blah. And this is where I disagree with you about the Stuxnet comparison at all. Because Stuxnet introduced a couple of things, which you completely marketed over. One, it was the first 0 day. What does 0 day mean? It means use a vulnerability that was not previously detected.
I don't know if it was the first.
It was
It's
the first.
The first that was that is known.
At that point in time, there was not people did not know about 0 days because these things were kept very quiet by the security agencies, by the various groups. Also, there wasn't as much distribution in the darknet because it was, and the internet darknet was not as efficient as it is now. It's sharing, oh, we discovered a vulnerability in this OS. Also, the vulnerability.
For those of you that's kind of not coming from security and wondering what 0 day is, it's a vulnerability that somebody found. Somebody scanned the code, find a bug that they can exploit to break in, and it's kept out of the known, then so that hackers can quietly, usually nation state, go and exploit it and actually
It requires a lot
in.
of reverse engineering of the operating systems, of the services. Those
Applications, yeah.
those vulnerabilities were very. Now we have a much broader methodology of dealing with vulnerability management, both on the detection side and the fixing side. There's an understanding.
Prevention.
So there was no. This was the first time that somebody really attacked Microsoft kernel in a specific way that you weren't supposed to know about. So that's something that was very unique into that attack.
Agree.
The other thing is, if you remember, discount key distribution, like basically throwing discount keys in parking lots, became a method that was used for many, many years afterwards. This was the first time that methodology was done. And another aspect of this is, especially when I compare this to the RSA breach and similar attacks, there was a clear command and control methodology around it versus the smash and grab and things like that existed before. That's why I'm saying that Stuxnet is not comparable to this. This is, for me, it's basically a utilization of a tool. And the thing that makes this interesting, this attack specifically interesting, is first, it proves me wrong, which pisses me off a little bit.
Maybe we explain the attack and what happened, and then
Yeah,
you get to
but
that.
before that, I want to explain a little bit of a background.
But if it pisses you off because you were wrong, that's something we need to discuss.
yes.
We have to open it up because you're claiming to never be wrong.
I am never wrong, but I might.
But you were wrong.
Misguided.
Misguided.
Yes.
That's a nice marketing.
Yes. So we were having a forum discussion that was hosted by Glasswing. My buddy Rick, who's one of the partners there, was kind of hosting a panel, and a guy from AWS said, "Look, we were born in AWS, and I don't know about AWS well enough. I know some people, but not as well as I know Microsoft. Microsoft definitely was born, very much the Microsoft Cloud was born with security not bolted on, but built in. After multiple attacks on their OS, when they built Azure, they brought in the best people that they stole from every place in the industry and paid them insane amount of money to make sure that this doesn't happen for their side." And one of the members of AWS said, "Look, basically the whole industry is replatforming. They're moving off of our platforms for execution into the AI platforms of execution, Claude, OpenAI, and the likes." And the guy on that forum said, "I don't think that they're applying the same level of security rigor that we are. If you try to run a malicious attack that's hosted on Azure or Google or Microsoft or AWS, they will pick you up fast, and I mean fast. That's why you see that a lot of the attacks that are hosted in Oracle, in Alibaba, and the various things, and a lot of the preventions of these attacks come from basically blocking the IPs of those hosts, because if you host attacks on the big cloud providers, they will call you and say, look, your service has been breached. They will shut you down a lot of times faster than your own detection teams. This has happened multiple times that services went down because AWS said, look, you're hosting a command control. Bye-bye. Until you get your shit together, you're out.
So you're saying they have mechanisms of detecting CNC servers and things like that, scanners,
They're
all
amazing.
those kind of things.
They're amazing. They're able. The people that control, part of the reason that I love running in AWS or in Microsoft is the fact that it made compliance so much easier. It made a lot of things so much easier because they took care of so many things in the stack for you. There's stuff that is shared ownership, but there are things that they will pick up before you can blink.
Okay, so your point about the AI companies?
The guy in AWS said, look, we built these skills for many, many years. They preferred advancement versus security, and you can see this in the Anthropic write-up. That's very clear that it's not at the same level of rigor. If this is something that I could read in one bathroom break this morning, it means that it's not that deep.
Basically, the attackers convinced the Claude to do some stuff that supposedly there needs to be guardrails.
There are guardrails.
But they convinced, but with the right prompts, they convinced the model to go do malicious activities that's supposed not to be doing. Correct. So what's the story? And tell the story of the attack.
So the story of the attack is that, at least as written by the Anthropic team, is that a Chinese government body was able to convince agents to perform a set of independent, theoretically non-malicious activities, but by that, with enough brute force, basically attack, I think was 30-something organizations.
At least that they know of,
At least that they know of. And that now they're retracing these attacks. Basically, the agents were doing work of pretend humans, of clicking on keyboards.
Nothing new, right? Brute forcing passwords have been like for
it's not just
decades.
passwords.
Now it's like the next level. You can do brute forcing social engineering.
Exactly. But the tasks themselves are each of them are harmless.
Well-known also techniques.
Well-known techniques, but it's broken down that the task is a set of harmless activities that put together.
What, for example, is a task that is harmless in the view of the agent?
Rewriting emails, rewriting text, logging in and clicking on websites. If you're doing, if you go over a list of passwords, if you think of what agents do a lot of times, so I'll give you an example. From my perspective, going over a list of logins and creating tokens, it did this for me multiple times, that the agent creates a set of privilege access tokens, each of them task specific for things I need to do in monitoring GitHub. So it creates a token for this, a token for that. You get a whole bunch of GitHub tokens, each of them task-based.
So the agent doesn't understand that what he's doing is for a malicious purpose. It looks benign. He's going to click a lot of things until something works, or he's going to improve a phishing email text until it gets through. They're all kind of built and planned for satisfaction of the operator, so that they're all there to please. I actually, a friend that we'll bring to the podcast, Sharon, he has a new startup around AI compliance, and that's exactly what he says. Like, you can be a HIPAA controlled organization, and you will put guardrails that, for example, only, I think HIPAA has all those guidelines of like only one record can be retrieved at a time, or maybe a maximum of 5. I don't know exactly what's the guideline, but that's to prevent from that. So you can tell the agent put this guardrails that it can only retrieve one at a time, but because it wants to really please the person asking for something, you can fool it and say, okay, let's go and do it once at a time, but do it forever. So, yeah, for the agents, it's not a problem. He will get all the medical records a hospital has one at a time.
Yes.
And, the HIPAA systems were built, that they were planned for human beings. We talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
Not for agents that are very efficient, don't
patient.
get tired, have all the time and resource of the world,
Yeah.
and they're to please, more than human beings.
Yes.
Like, that's the whole thing.
So I think this is where it becomes a lot of these things will need to be. I don't like to say regulated because I don't like regulation, but I think this is where I think if you are building agent frameworks, and the security right now is at the state of the security right now, I would think of this is where you want to consider leveraging as much as possible AWS and Google and Microsoft as your frameworks to operate your agents. Because one of the things that you can do is, I work for a company whose stock is skyrocketing right now, so I'm very happy. But firewalls work. If you decide that the only way to operate agents in your world is Agent Core or Verilex, or I forget the name of how it's called in Microsoft. Now you do get the people that actually care about security to take a look at your security. So until the AI companies actually buy a couple of Mandiants to learn how to build security correctly from the ground up, because even how the way they report things,
I think all of them will need to buy those kind of data compliance startups to start putting some governance and probably maybe the identity direction as well. Like, there is a lot of stack that needs to be there, and I'm not sure they have, as you say, the expertise, the kind of even focus, like they're focusing on building stuff. They need to probably add a layer of stopping stuff. Otherwise, it's going to be chaotic, and their growth is going to be impeded, because we already hear a lot of people saying, I think the implementation of AI tool in the enterprise, we've seen it like skyrocketing a year, 2 years ago. Like, everybody has discretionary funds. Let's go, let's test, let's do it everywhere. Then, I think a couple of months ago, there were a lot of reports about most of these projects completely failing, which is probably because they weren't well thought of. It's a podcast of itself about KPI metrics for AI projects, what they need to know to be, and why we're failing. We're overthinking it instead of same KPIs. We'll talk about it in a separate episode. But the point is, the implementation of AI seems to be going up. And now I think it's plateauing. Part of it is they realize the risk. They realize it's not everything is ready for, full implementation. And AI companies need to deal with it now.
I think this is a different thing. So this specific attack is an example that people overthink, overcomplicate, and are really stupid. So the thing that drove everybody nuts and got everybody worried is a DLP problem, data loss prevention. They thought, Lital will get Didi's data. Didn't happen. They were worried that that Claude will get the company's data. It's going to be a big deal. Well, it did get its data. You can't actually prevent it from getting the data. They found creative ways of regulating to make sure that you use the right models and the right settings and the right thing. And everybody was overhyped on this. Versus the simple thing, which actually, this is where I did get this right, is in a different conference, I basically put this and said, look, agents are basically a bunch of the brooms from Fantasia, and all you need to do is let them
Free them, let them go.
let them knock on doors until somebody is stupid enough to open, because
Sure.
they can knock on enough doors. So that's where people. This is the example of this implementation.
So what's your mistake?
No, my mistake was I thought that Anthropic and OpenAI will put in enough rigor because they were
So that the brooms of Fantasia not going to happen.
Yes, and they didn't because they got paid too much money, so they didn't care. My guess is that the way I view this is they were at that point in time looking at all the consumer identity companies, and what they need to do to save their butts is Anthropic needs to call our friend Sagi from Fronteg and say, we need to buy you because we had no fucking clue what we're doing. And they probably need to call Lior or Al and say, we need to buy you guys because we clearly have no idea what we're doing. That is my recommendation. If I'm the CEO of Anthropic, I'm right now calling a whole bunch of Israeli security CEOs and asking them to save my butt.
Awesome. I mean, people will make money. I'm
Yes.
all for it.
I'm all for that.
You go.
Yes.
Anything else?
So where I was, as I said, I was wrong about the level of diligence, but it's one of the things that if I am now a CISO, as of this morning, the first thing I'm doing is calling all these guys and saying, hey, I
All
need-
these guys, you mean the AI companies? What do you
Yes.
mean by all these guys?
Yes, all the AI companies, and say,
Mhm.
show me that you actually know what you're talking about. What is your rigor?
But to my understanding, you don't need to be a customer of that to be targeted.
It doesn't matter. I'm thinking of what happens if somebody convinces my AI to attack me.
That's for sure.
But
But
think
you,
of this as-
you,
think of
you
this as
didn't
like-
need to be an Anthropic customer
No,
to be
but-
targeted.
but-
It's the tool the attackers used.
Well, if you're stupid enough not to block an AI company's IP ranges from being used, it's like basic stupidity. It's like implementing basic DLP. You're supposed to have a tool like Harmonic or something like this, or robust intelligence, what is now called AI defense that we sell. Every one of the security companies have already
So
sold.
how come they let, you're saying they didn't block this range of IPs coming from Anthropic and let them, the agents, go play?
Or use any DLP tool, like strong, the modern DLP tools, like, as I said, robust, harmonic.
I doubt that those companies didn't have
I
some of this services.
I bet 100% that they don't, because I'm seeing adoption of these things. We were in a dinner recently, and people basically were not aware. CISOs there were not aware that they thought that their existing tools, like the Zscalers and the Netscopes, will probably do a good enough job.
So Zscaler needs to step up and think about that.
It's not Zscaler. You need tools that are very specific to this task. And there's plenty of companies, even big companies. Palo has a solution. We have a solution. CrowdStrike has a solution.
How would you prevent it as a Cisco?
The company that we bought from Robust Intelligence, they have a solution for this.
What do they do?
They're basically implementing a smarter set of rules on how you interact with agents from your machines.
So they would recognize it's an agent
Yeah.
and not a human being?
Yeah.
Like similar to
There's-
being able to
there's-
see that there is a
and
bot attack?
you block specific tools and specific models and specific contexts. The rules are there. It's like somebody not using a firewall today.
Okay. So you need to tune it now for agents.
And
Coming in.
for the specific tools and platforms. You need to work the same way that you use the firewall. These things exist. It's just people don't realize that and even more likely than not, their vendor already sells them this.
Yeah.
They just assume that another vendor deals with this, like as I said, the Casbys of the world, and it's not. It's the more traditional companies. As I said,
So you need to tune the tools you already have to just prevent
and
that.
be aware that some of them have features you need to turn on.
Okay. So I think that's a good conversation for all the vendors to give consultation to the customers of how to tune tools for that.
People just don't realize how prevalent most CISOs that are closer to my age are not understanding. They say, well, we haven't started our AI project yet. I said, yeah, but every single employee that you have that works on an Excel is already sticking their data, finding creative ways to make.
Yeah, and let's not forget the fact that this specific one is more like operated by nation state China. We all know that few days from now, this thing will be copycat by Script Kitty, buying Anthropic for $100, and he's going to do it, the same thing. So this is going to be prevalent. This will be as offered as a service. People will buy those agents on the dark web. It's easy, and they will be on not just Anthropic. It will be on whatever DeepSeek.
A bunch of hosted DeepSeeks.
Yeah, which is never going to be traced anywhere. So I mean, this is coming. This is real. We everybody said AI generated attack is the future. I mean, it's the same attacks, just now more efficient and cheap.
It's basically
cheap to operate.
It's just think of robocalling now on steroids.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same, brute force attacks. Lots of bots.
Yes, it's this is where producer Dave can help us. Do you remember which song of the Who was it? Here's the new boss, just like the old boss.
Yeah, the Who. That would be Won't Get Fooled Again. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Yes.
Words to live by.
Exactly.
Or words that are often familiar. Yes.
Okay. So nothing new. New threats just coming in, new disguise. It's a great world.
Yes, and
not a dull moment in cyber.
Yes, and I will end by saying that if you are on Peloton, take the Who run. I really like the Who run.
Well, I mean, it's so nice that we always have job security in cybersecurity.
Yes.
Never a dull moment. AI is not going to replace the need of more cybersecurity.
Yes.
On the contrary. So we love it. The Didi and Lital show is a weekly podcast. Please. Somebody is kind of trolling us and giving us bad reviews, and we know it's haters. You're friends of us.
It's your friends from the MTA.
Yeah, I think it's the union guys that hate me because I'm suing them. So if you are a friend of the podcast, please open your Apple Podcast, open Spotify, open YouTube, and help us. Put a 5-star because you love us. If you really, really love us more, even engage with us. Give a comment, recommend, and tell a friend about this episode. I'm sure people will be really interested to hear about this Claude attack and learn more.
Yeah.
We'll be here next week.
Also, Lital needs proof that people hate me and not her. She's a popularity hog versus me that I assume that I piss off at least 3 people a day.
It's not because of you that people give us low ranking. They hate me. You have no political opinions, and I do.
Okay.
Actually, you do. See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.